The chief boasts he has one of the best homicide teams in the country. So if you fire that legal or illegal weapon, Atlanta investigators will likely find you.
Majority of these people have some level of acquaintance. They are very few stranger to stranger homicides that we have in our city.
The chief took questions and talked about everything from street racing, which he says is not just an Atlanta problem, to the city's divide over the water boys and the much focused on crime numbers that so many of you are talking about, which includes the 72 murders to date this year.
Are we a safe city? I would say absolutely we're a safe city. We're absolutely. The level, the likelihood of you getting in, walking down the street and getting shot is very low.
And of course, when you talk about crime, you soon talk about the number of police officers in the city. And coming up at 5 o'clock, we will tell you what the chief plans to do about staffing. We are reporting.
You know, it does appear that it is a disease. All this gunplay, they're not using their brain, they're allowing their emotions to make their decisions. You can't do that. You need to stop, take 3 breaths and think before you react. Unless you have absolutely no other choice.
Identifying 2 suspects wanted for questioning in connection with a deadly shooting at the Five Point station. Police say a 29-year-old man was killed early yesterday morning. They believe the suspects may have been in a 2018 or 2019 Sonata or Elantra. They say the man in the white shirt should be considered armed and dangerous. You're asked to call MARTA Police if you recognize them or have seen them anywhere in your zip code. A new Gwinnett County program offering
booms go off. Police identified the second victim as Paul Pearson, who was the owner of that pickup truck. The third man, police have not been able to identify. As soon as news broke of Siller's death, tributes from golfers around the country began pouring in.
Everybody got along with him. He was very well liked. It's a tragic loss to not only to his family, but the club itself.
Tonight, all 4th of July celebrations.
Get out from under the rock that they're under and understand that we do.
This is mental illness. This is mental illness at its best. I have over 1,500 inmates. 25% of that population has been classified as mentally ill, and it's going to go up. And this is what we need to talk about.
It takes all of us, not just law enforcement. And I think that's the problem that we're seeing is people, when other institutions, when other groups shut down, it all falls on law enforcement to get it right. And we can't, it's not just law enforcement that have to fix this problem. It takes all of us.
and those participating officials agreed.
The situation under control. And U.S. sprinter Sha'Carri Richardson will not compete in the Olympics after all. She was suspended for a month after testing positive for marijuana, but many thought she might still land a spot on the women's relay team after the suspension ended. But the U.S. track and field team, however, named 6 sprinters to compete in the relay. Richardson was not one of them. The 21-year-old admitted to using marijuana to cope with the news of her biological mother's.
Some of the men ended up running into nearby woods, sparking a standoff. The suspects will be in court Tuesday to face firearms and other charges. Well, Americans are more
fingerprinted, and during his arraignment today, he objected to be referred to as John Doe. He eventually got louder as he was removed from the courtroom when the court recessed. Another one of the men told the judge that he wanted to have a co-defendant as his legal counsel. When the judge explained that that wasn't possible, a woman in the courtroom stood up and started yelling before she left. Well, one of the nation's largest
used solely for off-road.
They're designed to go on, all terrain, difficult terrain. So the street is easy pieces for them. They can go from the street to the sidewalks, parking lot,
Wednesday afternoon at Mountain Motorsports in Marietta, we ran into two individuals, the joiners, who were looking for a little road excitement, seeking a bike much like some of those you've seen in our street racing stories. But those, according to the joiners, it's a stereotype that doesn't fit every driver.
It's easy to handle. I took a course. It was fun. I just, since I've grown older, I'm looking to just empty nesters. We just want to have some fun on the weekend.
This effort by city council members, well, they know they cannot do this by themselves. They will need help from state lawmakers to sign on. From Marietta, I'm Morse Diggs, Fox 5 News.
Now get 3 tractor-drawn aerial fire trucks and 3 new 1,500 gallons per minute pumpers in fiscal year 2022, and even more equipment the next year. All right, so you've probably had to
national attention and left a Cobb County community frightened. Tonight, we are learning more about the third person found dead at a country club in Cobb County.
Police publicly identified that third victim as a man from California. The community near that club is still on edge as investigators continue their search for the killer. Fox 5's Brian Hill joins us live near the 10th hole where police discovered the 3 bodies. And Brian, the club reopened today. What do members say about this shocking crime?
Well, people tell me they're still sad and shocked and mad, saying that this situation did not need to happen. Now, before it started raining, there were a lot of people out here playing golf, but the 10th hole where those bodies were found remains closed, but you can see there is still a memorial, and a lot of people have been stopping by to just remember and honor the victims who were found out here over the weekend.
And prayers. Pope Francis is recovering from surgery that continues to be regular and satisfactory, the Vatican said. As it revealed, the final examination showed he had suffered a severe narrowing of his colon. The Vatican said the procedure was in fact needed. The operation removed the left side of the colon and attaching the remaining parts of the large intestine. Francis will stay at the hospital for about 7 days, barring any complications. The Vatican's daily update made no mention of cancer being detected during an examination of the tissue that was removed on Sunday. Doctors said that was a good sign and evidence that the suspected condition of the narrowing of the colon due to inflammation and scarring had been confirmed.
At least look the other way. Mr. Biden met with Russian President Vladimir Putin last month and discussed past cyber intrusions and what the U.S. considers a red line.
What the president said to President Putin, which even if there are criminal actors, even if it's not the Russian government that attacks either our critical infrastructure or our country through cyber attacks, we reserve the option to take action if they won't do it on their own.
Some former officials are pushing for more action.
This has to go beyond hitting their computers back. We have to be willing to move out into the physical world and impose consequences.
But a cyber response could get complicated.
We need to act firmly and we need to act swiftly. That doesn't mean we need to react irresponsibly, because cyber is the domain where a conflict can escalate uncontrollably.
REvil dropped its ransom demand from $70 million to $50 million on Tuesday, but the federal government still tells businesses don't pay, no matter what the price. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
According to the Russian Defense Ministry, the U.S. aircraft appeared to be approaching Russian airspace before it was intercepted by the Russian jet and escorted away. The U.S. aircraft wasn't detected in Russian airspace. The pandemic is causing